Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. The atmosphere inside the Forrester mansion had never felt so heavy, because what began as an ordinary evening quickly turned into one of the most emotional moments Steffy Forrester had faced in years, and by the time Carter Walton stood in front of her with a ring in his hand, asking the two words no one expected him to say, "Marry me," Steffy was left completely speechless while Finn stood only a few feet away, devastated by the realization that he might be watching another man take the woman he still considered the love of his life. For weeks, Steffy had been caught between anger, confusion, guilt, and feelings she refused to fully explain, and Carter had quietly become the person who seemed to understand the parts of her that no one else could reach. Their connection had started in moments of vulnerability, private conversations, and the dangerous comfort of knowing they both understood what it felt like to make choices that could destroy everything. Carter never planned to fall for Steffy, at least that was what he had told himself, but every conversation had pulled him deeper, and every time Steffy looked at him with uncertainty in her eyes, he saw a woman trying to remain strong while her world was collapsing around her. Finn, meanwhile, had refused to give up on his marriage. Even after learning that Steffy had crossed emotional boundaries with Carter, Finn continued to believe that what they had built together was too powerful to throw away. He remembered every crisis they had survived, every time Steffy had fought to protect their family, every promise they had made about Hayes, Kelly, and their future. And in Finn's mind, Carter could never understand Steffy the way he did. But Finn underestimated how deeply hurt Steffy had become, and how much of her trust had been shaken. To Finn, reconciliation seemed like the natural ending to their pain, but to Steffy, returning to him without confronting everything that had happened felt like pretending that the cracks in their marriage were not real. She still loved Finn. That was the truth she could not escape. Yet love had become complicated by disappointment, resentment, and the strange new sense of freedom she felt around Carter. And when Carter finally decided he could no longer live in uncertainty, he did something that shocked even Steffy. He arrived at the mansion after learning that Finn planned to ask Steffy to give their marriage one final chance. Carter knew that if he waited, he might lose her forever, and he was tired of pretending his feelings were temporary. Steffy was standing near the fireplace when he entered, and the moment she saw the seriousness in his expression, she immediately sensed that something had changed. "Carter, what are you doing here?" she asked, looking toward the hallway as though she feared someone might appear. Carter did not answer right away. Instead, he walked closer, his eyes fixed on hers, and told her that he had spent too much of his life making the safe choice, protecting everyone else, and walking away from happiness whenever things became complicated. He said Steffy had forced him to see himself differently, because she never accepted weakness, never apologized for being powerful, and never allowed anyone to define what she was supposed to want. Steffy tried to interrupt him, but Carter gently told her that he needed to finish, because if he did not say the truth now, he might regret it for the rest of his life. Then, to Steffy's disbelief, Carter reached into his jacket and pulled out a small velvet box. Her breath caught instantly. "Carter, no," she whispered, but he was already lowering himself onto one knee. The ring sparkled under the soft lights of the mansion, and for a moment Steffy looked as though the entire world had disappeared around her. Carter told her he knew the timing was imperfect, perhaps even reckless, but he could not keep pretending that their relationship was something he could simply walk away from. "Marry me, Steffy," he said. "Choose a future that's ours, not one built around what everyone else thinks you should do." Steffy stared at him, stunned, her hand slowly rising toward her mouth. She had expected Carter to confess that he loved her. She had even prepared herself for the possibility that he might ask her to choose between him and Finn. But marriage was something else entirely. A proposal meant permanence. It meant stepping across a line that could never easily be erased. And it meant giving Finn an answer that Steffy had desperately avoided giving. What neither Carter nor Steffy realized was that Finn had arrived moments earlier. He had come carrying a small bag containing a few personal things Steffy had left at the Cliff House, along with a framed photo of the two of them and their children. He had hoped the picture might remind Steffy that their family was still worth fighting for. Instead, Finn stopped in the doorway when he heard Carter's voice and saw him kneeling before Steffy. Finn's expression changed instantly. Shock became disbelief, disbelief became heartbreak, and finally heartbreak turned into quiet anger. He did not interrupt at first. He stood frozen, listening to Carter tell Steffy that he wanted to build a life with her, and each word seemed to crush another part of Finn's hope. Steffy finally noticed him. Her eyes widened. "Finn," she whispered. Carter turned slowly and rose to his feet, instantly understanding what had happened. Finn's voice was calm at first, which somehow made the moment even more painful. "So this is where we are now?" he asked. "I came here believing there was still something left to save, and instead I find him proposing to my wife." Steffy quickly reminded him that they were separated and that everything between them had become complicated, but Finn shook his head. To Finn, those explanations were simply words designed to avoid the truth. He asked Steffy whether she loved Carter. The question hung in the room like a blade. Steffy looked at Carter, then back at Finn, but she could not answer. Her silence devastated Finn more than any confession could have. Finn placed the framed family photo on the table and told Steffy that he had spent weeks blaming himself, asking what he could have done differently, wondering whether he could have prevented their marriage from reaching this point. But seeing Carter with a ring suddenly changed something inside him. He realized that he could not spend the rest of his life begging Steffy to choose him. If she wanted Carter, Finn said, then she needed to say it clearly because he could survive heartbreak, but he could not survive endless uncertainty. Carter tried to explain that he never intended to humiliate Finn, but Finn immediately cut him off. "You proposed to my wife," Finn said coldly. "Don't stand there and pretend you care about how this feels." Carter's jaw tightened, because he refused to accept Finn treating Steffy as though she belonged to him. Carter reminded Finn that Steffy was capable of making her own decisions, and that perhaps the reason Finn was so angry was because he had assumed Steffy would always come back no matter how deeply she had been hurt. That accusation struck a nerve. Finn stepped toward Carter, and for a moment it appeared that the confrontation might become physical. Steffy moved between them immediately, ordering both men to stop. She told them that she refused to be treated like a prize in some competition. She was not going to choose a man simply because one had proposed and the other wanted his marriage back. If she was going to make a decision, it would be because she knew what future she wanted, not because either of them pressured her. Carter apologized, saying his proposal had never been meant as an ultimatum, but he admitted that he was terrified of losing her. Finn responded that Carter had already taken enough. Steffy's eyes flashed with anger. She told Finn that this was exactly the problem. He continued to talk about Carter as though Carter had stolen something from him, when the truth was that their marriage had been breaking long before Carter admitted his feelings. Finn looked wounded and asked Steffy whether she was rewriting their entire history, just to justify what she had done. Steffy insisted she was not. She loved the life they had built, but love did not erase betrayal, disappointment, or the things they had failed to say to each other. Finn reminded her that he had forgiven mistakes she had made in the past, but Steffy replied that forgiveness was not a debt she owed him. The conversation became painfully honest, touching old wounds neither of them wanted to reopen, and Carter slowly began to understand that the decision Steffy faced was not simply between two men. She was choosing between two different versions of herself. Finn represented her family, stability, history, and the future she had once imagined would last forever. Carter represented risk, change, and the possibility of becoming someone who did not have to keep reliving the same conflicts. But Carter also came with complications of his own. Steffy knew his past with hope, and his complicated loyalty to the Forresters would never disappear. She knew that marrying Carter would create a storm inside Forrester Creations, and could permanently damage relationships she had spent years protecting. Ridge would be furious. Brooke would almost certainly accuse Steffy of destroying another family. Hope would have strong feelings about Carter moving on so dramatically. Eric would struggle to understand how Carter and Steffy had become serious enough to consider marriage. And Finn's family would be devastated. Steffy understood all of that, which was why Carter's proposal frightened her almost as much as it moved her. After the confrontation, Finn eventually walked away, but before leaving, he told Steffy something that stayed with her. "If you choose him, I won't fight you anymore," he said. "But don't choose him because you're angry with me. And don't choose me because you're afraid to let go of what we were. Choose the life you actually want." Finn's words left Steffy shaken, because beneath all his anger was the love that had always made him different. He wanted her, but he also understood that forcing her back would never restore what they had lost. Carter remained behind, but now his confidence had faded. He closed the ring box and told Steffy that she did not need to answer him tonight. Steffy looked at him sharply and asked whether he regretted proposing. Carter said no. He regretted the pain surrounding the moment but not the proposal. He meant every word. He wanted her, not as an escape, not as revenge against Finn, and not as another secret. He wanted to wake up beside her, build a home with her, support her ambitions, and be part of the complicated life she already had. Steffy was visibly moved, but she told him that love alone was not enough for her anymore. She had learned that passion could be powerful and still lead to destruction. Carter asked what he needed to prove. Steffy responded that this was not about proving something. It was about whether she trusted herself. That night, Steffy sat alone in the mansion staring at the ring Carter had left on the table. He had told her to keep it until she was ready to give him an answer, and the sight of it became almost impossible to ignore. Every time she looked at it, she remembered Carter kneeling in front of her and Finn standing in the doorway with heartbreak in his eyes. Meanwhile, Finn returned to the Cliff House and found himself surrounded by reminders of Steffy. A coffee mug she had bought, a blanket they had chosen together, family photos, Hayes toys. Even the silence seemed to contain her presence. Finn picked up his phone several times, tempted to call her, but stopped himself. He had promised not to pressure her. Still, when Lee arrived and saw how destroyed her son looked, she immediately knew something serious had happened. Finn finally admitted that Carter had proposed to Steffy. Lee was furious. She demanded to know why Steffy was allowing Carter to interfere in their marriage, and insisted that Finn needed to fight. Finn surprised her by saying he was tired of fighting. "I love Steffy," he said. "But if she has to be convinced to love me back, then what are we even saving?" Lee argued that marriages go through painful periods, and that Carter was taking advantage of Steffy's vulnerability. Finn admitted part of him believed that too, but another part feared that Steffy genuinely wanted something different. Across town, Carter found Ridge waiting for him at Forrester Creations the next morning. Ridge had heard about the proposal, and his reaction was explosive. He accused Carter of betraying Finn, disrespecting the Forrester family, and creating a scandal that could affect everyone. Carter remained calm and told Ridge that his relationship with Steffy was not a business matter. Ridge disagreed, saying everything involving his daughter became personal. He demanded to know whether Carter seriously believed Steffy would marry him. Carter replied that he would not have asked if he did not believe their relationship was real. Ridge warned him that Steffy was vulnerable and confused, but Carter fired back that everyone around Steffy kept talking about her like she was incapable of knowing her own feelings. That stopped Ridge for a moment because despite his anger, he knew Carter was right about one thing. Steffy hated being controlled. Ridge later found Steffy alone and asked her what she was going to do. Steffy refused to answer. Ridge told her he wanted her to be happy, but admitted he believed Finn was her true partner. Steffy smiled bitterly and said everyone seemed to have already decided what her answer should be. Ridge softened and told her that whatever she chose, she needed to be prepared for the consequences. That same afternoon, Steffy received a message from Finn asking whether they could meet privately. She agreed, and when Finn arrived, the mood between them was completely different from the confrontation the night before. There was no shouting, no accusations. Finn told her he had spent the entire night thinking, and he wanted to say something without expecting anything in return. He apologized for the times he had made Steffy feel unheard. He apologized for assuming their history guaranteed their future. He admitted that he had been so focused on keeping the family together that he had sometimes failed to recognize how deeply certain decisions had hurt her. Steffy's eyes filled with tears. She told him she had made mistakes too. She had allowed anger and loneliness to push her toward Carter before she had fully decided what she wanted from Finn. Finn asked the question he had avoided for months. "Do you still love me?" Steffy answered immediately this time. "Yes." Finn's eyes filled with hope, but Steffy continued. "And that's what makes this so hard." She explained that loving him did not automatically mean she was ready to return to their marriage, because she had learned that two people could love each other and still become trapped in patterns that hurt them. Finn asked whether she loved Carter too. Steffy hesitated, and that hesitation gave Finn his answer. He looked away, struggling to control his emotions. Steffy reached for his hand, but Finn stepped back, saying he needed honesty more than comfort. He told her he could not compete with Carter forever. If she wanted to explore that relationship, Finn would step aside, but he would not wait indefinitely while she decided. Steffy understood. Later, Carter came to see her, and this time Steffy was holding the ring box when he entered. Carter immediately searched her face for an answer. Steffy told him that she had spoken with Finn, and Carter braced himself for rejection. She admitted that she still loved Finn. Carter looked crushed, but Steffy stopped him before he could leave. She also admitted that what she felt for Carter was real. Carter asked what that meant for his proposal. Steffy opened the box and stared at the ring. "It means I can't say yes tonight," she said. Carter's face fell, but Steffy continued, "And I'm not saying no." Carter studied her carefully. Steffy explained that if she accepted the ring now, part of her would always wonder whether she had chosen him because she was afraid of going back to Finn. If she returned to Finn immediately, she would always wonder whether she had walked away from something with Carter simply because it was easier to choose the familiar. Carter asked how long she needed. Steffy told him she did not know. That answer frustrated him, but he respected it. He reached out and closed her fingers around the ring box, telling her that when she was ready, she needed to choose without thinking about Ridge, Brooke, Forrester Creations, or anyone else. "Choose the man you can see beside you when everything else disappears," Carter said quietly. Steffy was left alone once again, but the decision was becoming harder rather than easier. In the days that followed, Finn focused on Hayes and his work, refusing to discuss Steffy with anyone. Carter threw himself into Forrester business, but those closest to him could see the uncertainty beneath his calm exterior. Steffy watched both men from a distance, recognizing that they represented completely different emotional worlds. Finn knew every version of her. The strong executive, the protective mother, the woman who could be impulsive, jealous, loving, stubborn, and terrified. Carter knew the version of Steffy who was emerging now, the woman asking what she wanted when she stopped living according to everyone else's expectations. That distinction became impossible for her to ignore. The biggest surprise came when Steffy visited the Cliff House to see Hayes and discovered Finn sitting on the floor helping their son build a tower. Hayes laughed when he saw her, and for a moment Steffy forgot every complication. She joined them, and the three of them looked exactly like the family they once were. Finn did not pressure her. He did not mention Carter. He simply allowed the moment to exist. When Steffy prepared to leave, Finn told her that no matter what happened between them, he would always protect their children and respect her as their mother. Steffy's eyes filled with tears because this was the Finn she had fallen in love with, patient and gentle, not desperate or possessive. But later that evening, Carter surprised her by showing up outside Forrester Creations after a brutal meeting, and taking her somewhere quiet overlooking the city. He told her that he knew she had spent her entire life carrying the weight of her family's expectations, and he promised that with him, she would never need permission to be herself. He did not mention the proposal. He simply stood beside her, and Steffy realized how safe she felt with him in a completely different way. The final twist came when Steffy returned home and placed Carter's ring beside her wedding ring from Finn. She stared at both, almost symbolically weighing the two futures in front of her. One represented a love story that had survived everything but might never completely heal. The other represented a new beginning that could either become the greatest love of her life, or the biggest mistake she had ever made. Just then there was a knock at the door. Steffy opened it and froze.